Hey there, fellow sports gamblers. It's Steel Picks for you with the 5 best NBA playoff prize picks and underdog free picks for today, May 18th. Before we get into today's picks, let's see what happened to us yesterday. Duncan Robinson was 4 for 7 to go over the 2.5 made field goals we said he'd go over. Jared Allen had 4 defensive rebounds to go under the 5.5 defensive rebounds we said he'd go under. But Patrick Reed had a first half rebound to go over the .5 first half rebounds we said he'd go under. Dean Wade threw an assist to go over the .5 assists we said he'd go under. And Tobias Harris was missing in action today when the Detroit Pistons needed him the most. He was 0 for 6 from the field, scoring 5 points and 2 assists, well below the 18.5 points and assists we said he'd go over. 2 out of 5 is not good. So I had to do a little bit of self-reflection with regards to how things transpired. And I have to admit, fellow sports gamblers, I fell guilty to the stats and analytics without really looking at the true character of certain players. That definitely falls on my shoulders, and I'm definitely pointing fingers at Tobias Harris. Shame on me for thinking that he was going to do something out of character with regards to his history in big games, not necessarily from a stats and analytics standpoint, in which case he certainly would have went over the 18.5 points and assists we said he'd go over, but I just wasn't following my gut. I was following the stats, and shame on me for not putting the whole puzzle together and making things happen out here for us. So let's turn this around and see if we can't put together an immaculate ticket today with some easier and better picks. First up, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, under 21.5 field goal attempts against the San Antonio Spurs. The reason that I say this is because he's only done this 2 times in the playoffs. Game 2 against Phoenix, he shot the ball 25 times. And the last game against Los Angeles where he put up 22. But for the most part, he's been, for the 5 of the 6 games, right in this 18 to 20 range, below the 21.5 field goal attempts that we're saying that he's going to go under. And in addition, he has not played a center of the caliber of Victor Wembanyama to this point, which is going to be a factor with regards to how many times he comes to the hole and gets shots off that, or actually say doesn't get shots off that he's been able to get off in the past. Certainly don't think that minutes is going to be a problem. I do think actually that some of the field goal attempts are going to go down, the 22 being the high mark in the Lakers series. I certainly think that it's going to be well below that. And with regards, he'll take a few, but I don't think not nearly as many as game 3 against the Lakers. So under the 21.5 field goal attempts is what I am saying for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Prizepicks Lexus, as well as they have them at the -119. And in that same game, in that same vein, thinking that he won't have over 21.5 field goal attempts, I also don't think that he is going to score over 9.5 first quarter points. And then again, the stats and the analytics back this up. As you can see in his last 6 games in the playoffs, he has not done that. And in addition, the last 4 against the Lakers, high water mark being 8 points. So that's a good 1.5 under what we need it to be. So that looks favorable for us. He has been playing quite a few minutes, as you can see, pretty consistently playing the entire first quarter. But I certainly think that given the fact that the San Antonio Spurs have one of the better defenses, as you can see with regards to points allowed in the first quarter and points allowed total, San Antonio is the best team in the league. Certainly thinking that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be under the 9.5 first quarter points. Next up, from that same game, we have Julian Champagne over 1.5 3-pointers. Now, as you can see, during the playoffs, there's only been 1 game where he hasn't done that. Not quite sure what was going on in this game 4 of the Minnesota series, but he had no 3-pointers. In every other game, he's had at least 2. And in 3 of the games in the playoffs, he's had twice as many as we need, certainly with the 5, the 4, and the 4. So certainly thinking that he's going to be able to replicate that effort. With regards to playing on the road, the first game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Oklahoma City Thunder have had plenty of rest, so they're going to be a little bit dusty, and I certainly think that San Antonio Spurs are going to come out taking full advantage of that. As you can see, Champagne has been playing a pretty consistent amount of minutes, 28 minutes a game. As far as 3-point field goal attempts are concerned, he's been getting up a few. Last game, he actually got up 9, making 4 of those. And then in game 5, getting off 8, making 2 of those. So certainly think that he will be over the 1.5 3-pointers. Certainly liking the way the San Antonio Spurs are going to come out of the chute against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And as a friendly reminder, when you sign up with BETR using my promo code WINCASH, you'll receive 2 anytime tokens worth up to $100 each. And when you sign up with Novig and use my STEELEWINS promo code and spend $5, you'll get a $50 bonus with which you can place bets using these prop analysis. Good luck to everyone. Next up, we have Stephon Castle over 5.5 field goals made. A lot has been made of Stephon's game on last Friday, where he just went absolutely bananas, making more than the 5.5 field goal attempts that we're talking about. 11. It was a pretty fantastic display. I believe he was 32 points in that game. Expecting something very similar with regards to his output against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that they will go as far as Stephon Castle can take them with regards to pushing the pace, hitting in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's face, being aggressive, going to the line, and certainly the numbers will back this up. As you can see, 31.5 minutes a game. The last game was 30 minutes, so certainly think that he is going to go over that as well, which is certainly going to play in our hands with regards to Stephon Castle going over the 5.5 field goal attempts made. And as you can see, Prizepicks likes this as well, as they have him at the -119. And last but not least, we have his teammate, Victor Wembanyama, over 12.5 first half points against the Oklahoma City Thunder, his arch nemesis. As you can see, he has done this in 4 of the last 5 games. The only game he has not done that is the game that he was suspended for throwing an elbow. So every other game that he's played relatively consistent minutes, he's been able to go over this 12.5 first half points. And as you can see with regards to minutes, set aside that one game where he got ejected, he's been averaging about 16 minutes a game. And in that last game, game 6 at Minnesota, got 18.6, so plenty of opportunity for Victor Wembanyama to do his thing. And in addition, he is playing a front court, not nearly as physical as Gobert and McDaniels and Julius Randle. When you're talking about Holmgren and Hartenstein, I think Victor Wembanyama will certainly have an advantage with regards to shot selection and his ability to make things happen. Certainly alley-oop is going to be there for him. And let's not forget Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren. There is no love lost between those two. So I certainly think Victor Wembanyama is going to be trying to show out and do his very best to establish his presence of authority and see if the San Antonio Spurs can steal one on the road. So to recap, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 21.5 field goal attempts. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 9.5 first quarter points. Julian Champagne over 1.5 3-pointers. Stephon Castle over 5.5 field goals. And Victor Wembanyama over 12.5 first half points. And in addition, my 3-leg parlay is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 21.5 field goal attempts. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 9.5 first quarter points. And Victor Wembanyama over 12.5 first half points. That's the 5 picks I have for you. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the Steel Picks for You channel. And good luck, everyone.